Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Nacho Tuesday. And today I have Sammy James here with Leverly, and we'd love if you could introduce what Leverly does and tell us more about your background.
Leverly, yeah, sure. Thanks, Andy. Leverly is a tool to help close inbound leads, and the way we do that is through speed and persistence, because so we automate the ability for you to speak to your leads instantly, whether they come in by form or by phone.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense because as I always say, time kills deals, and if you're not there to get in front of your customer when they're ready to buy, oftentimes you lose those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, we started out 15 years ago, when I was running an agency, and my clients were complaining to me that their reps were not following up on the inbound leads. So I just thought that was just insane. I grew up in sales where I didn't have a lead. It was just good luck, go for it. And so to get a lead is just the greatest thing in the world to me. Yep. So I'm hyper. I value them probably more than the average person because I never had them before. Yep. And then at the same time, it was obvious to me that, okay, the salespeople weren't interested in following up because they thought it was too hard and it's too much work, and they couldn't get a hold of them and this and that.
Yep.
It's because sales has always been really an outbound. Before Google came along in 2004 or something like that, it was an outbound thing. Yep. And so you think about it, for 100 years, sales is outbound. There's direct response and people calling in, but there were no forms. And so I also thought about, well, it's not just the sales, people not liking these leads or liking the complexity of following up on them. It's also the process in the operation side. It's just not set up for that. Yep. So, maybe it pops up in their CRM, so they get assigned the lead. And so the reason, and I have not heard this from anybody else, I've come to this conclusion on my own, so I could be wrong, but the only reason I can think that you would assign a lead to somebody is that somebody has to take ownership of getting in touch with the lead.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, if you're selling something that requires a conversation, well, then if you get a lead and you never have a conversation, you don't have a chance in hell of closing that lead. It's never going to happen. So job one is the conversation. So, okay. And let's say I sign a lead to you. You happen to be on the phone with somebody else, or, whatever, you're doing a pitch, or I don't know what, doing some other thing you do as a salesperson. Working hard, but just, hey, sorry, tied up. So what does that lead do that was assigned to you? It sits there, and it could sit there for 5 minutes. It could sit there for 5 hours or 5 days, and nobody really knows. So I thought that was kind of dumb. I thought, why? That's not smart. It doesn't make sense to have a bottleneck built into the process. Yep. So I thought about that first. And then I thought about, well, how can we eliminate the bottleneck and make it easy for salespeople to follow up on leads? Now, I happen to be like, the laziest salesperson in the world when it comes to doing, work stuff. Like, I love to be organized, but hate to organize. It's great to be organized, and I value it, but I am not I just, I don't like all that, updating the CRM and, looking at my tasks.
Like a lot of sales guys don't. They like closing the deal.
Like that part. It's like, that's the, so I was like, these people, they're walking in the morning and they've got a task list that's a mile long. It's got to be, it just grows by the day. As they get assigned a lead and they don't get in touch with it, it's still there. They create a task. Oh, I left a voicemail. I'm going to call back, or, whatever. And then it just, and then after you get like to 50, 175 of these tasks to get in touch with a lead that you haven't spoken to yet, what do? You kind of go, oh man, I'm too embarrassed to call this guy. It's been 2 weeks since I tried, or since he inquired, or a week. It's been a week. He's gonna yell at me or something. Or let me see, who should I choose here? And you have so much time in the day to do it, and I don't know, it's kind of a mess. And so as a result of all of this, the statistics are that the average lead in America sits for about 45 hours. That's the average. It's worse than that in some cases, better in others. And then the average lead gets about 2.1 calls, attempts. And again, and we know statistically you have to call at least 6 times to give yourself a 98% chance of talking to that lead.
Oh, wow. 6 times. A lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people even give up after the first attempt if they even call the lead.
Yeah, for sure. There's some extreme sides to this. Some people are really good at this. 1% of all leads, I think it's gone up to 2% of all leads get a call within 60 seconds. So it's not like everybody is doing a horrible job. There's 1 or 2% that are doing a brilliant job. So I want to, congratulate them.
Well, the ones using Leverly, I guess.
Yeah, well, that for sure, but or some other means. But anyway, so what I thought I had worked in San Francisco in the .com era, and I lived there for 20 years, and still my favorite city because I haven't been there in a while, so I don't have the new perception of what San Francisco is. I'm still got the old one, right, which was really cool. And so I worked for some startups that were telephony based. Give you an example. One of them was a company that was a song recognition company. We were able to tell you what song was playing on the radio.
Oh, very cool.
Like Shazam, right? Except that we didn't have smartphones. So this is back, cave painting days when you had to dial a number and, to 1-800-777-BUZZ. And then it was called Buzz Hits. It was anyway, Buzz Hits. Please enter the number of the station you're listening to now. So I go 1045. KFOG, here's what's playing now. Play a little snippet. That's Madonna, Holiday or whatever the song was at the time. But anyway, so is that the song you're looking for? So it worked and people loved it, right? But so and I was the new biz dev guy. I productized that and monetized that and did, and I figured out ways to make money with that. And so I'm kind of good at, I think what I've noticed is I'm pretty good at taking disparate pieces, things that are not naturally already connected, and just sort of putting them together in a way that creates value and that people understand. And so when the first thing that came to my mind was, wait a minute, what if we were to take a form? Because that's really a pain in the ass. The forms going in via an email. Some people were printing out the emails and handing out the papers. Some were going through like a fax machine, like New York Life 10 years ago was faxing leads to their agents that were coming into their website. It's just insane stuff, right? So I thought, okay, what if we turned it into a phone call? And so where the data goes, we convert it into text to speech and some prompts, and we just call the sales team, and we just call everybody. And it's like, hey, well, maybe it's round robin, and if it's you're up and you're not available, we skip to the next person. And so somebody, please, let's just not pre-assign the lead, and somebody who's available grab the phone. And then it's, hey, you have a lead, here's their name, here's what they want, press 1 to call them. That stuff's still in your CRM. We're not disrupting that. But by pressing 1, you're dialing the lead with your caller ID, and you're speaking to them in 30 seconds.
Wow.
And, I had no idea whether A, I could get this to work, or B, that would make any difference. It was just an experiment, right? But, I'm just it was driving me crazy to see these things wasted. So the experiment worked, and then it can, so the concept worked of speaking to leads. And then a study came out about the same time, MIT, saying, we experimented and we called all these leads at different times. And, I guess they were surprised that if you called a lead in 5 minutes or less, that you had a higher likelihood of closing that deal and all that stuff. They only took it to 5 minutes though, which was like, why not 1 minute? Why not 1 second? but anyway, they just thought at the time, 5 minutes was crazy fast. So the truth is, and this is something that people don't really operate their business on. And again, most businesses, the ones we deal with, about 50% of their inbound comes from phone calls or from forums.
Yep.
So you've got to, I mean, just answering the phone, beautiful, instant. You're having a conversation. You know, that's what you want. How can we do that with a form? So anyway, the statistics are crazy, and that is that if you wait longer than 1 minute, the likelihood of converting, not just connecting, but converting that lead drops 400% or 4 times.
Wow.
If you wait 5 minutes, it drops 800%.
Jeez.
So people don't operate their business like that. I mean, because if you knew that, I mean, I just think if everyone knew that, it's kind of like the problem aware thing. If everyone was problem aware, like, hey guys, we're really making life hard on ourselves by waiting more than 5 minutes to call our leads. We got to give ourselves, you only get that magic window once when that new fresh lead comes in during business hours. You'll never get it again. Now you enter the world of persistence. And so, and persistence pays off too, but speed's the number one driver. Because, you know, it's just common sense stuff. You know, it doesn't take research to tell you this, that people are, you know, they have a problem and they've invested in searching for a solution, and you came up, they're considering you among others.
And information.
Yeah, they want to know, can you help me? And if you don't, I mean, if you wait, it's not that people have a short attention span. It's just they have too much, you know, too much things that are demanding their attention. I mean, they just don't have enough to go around. So like in 5 or 10 or 15, I can see it like 10 minutes later, somebody
found a different solution, right?
Yeah, or I've either already talked to somebody else, and you're dead now, because that's another stat, and this is common sense too. But up to 80%, it depends on the category, et cetera. But up to 80% of people who do buy from the first company they speak to. So there's a real bias towards the first company that calls them, especially when you call them immediately. Now, we've done millions and millions of calls, okay, on behalf of our clients over the years. And not one person has complained about getting a phone call in 60 seconds or less.
Especially if they're providing their information in the first place, right?
Yeah. Now, and one would say, well, wait a minute. You know, if they wanted to speak to me, why didn't they just pick up the phone and call me? The landing page is a phone number and a form. And I wrote a post about this on LinkedIn, you know, last week or so. It's like, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, is it like some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, and some, you know, and it's some logic would tell you, well, they don't want to speak to you. That's why they fill out the form. And they're, you know, and it's like not true, you know, and it's kind of like if you're the kind of person that you know, if someone walks up to you, you're very affable and gregarious, but you're not going to initiate that conversation. You're not going to walk up to them.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So anyway, I don't know. Again, I don't know the answer. All I know is that's what happens. So I'm glad, because my business wouldn't be a business if people were like, why you call me? I don't want to and get mad. So I wouldn't be the other thing that actually made this work as an experiment was that when I deconstructed it, said, why does this work? Besides, you know, the fact that people do like and appreciate and think highly of you for calling them that fast. I mean, there is before the salesperson even opens their mouth, the prospect is like already thinking, wow, this company must be so professional, so buttoned up, have it so together. I think they're more credible and trust them, you know, more than I did, you know, 1 minute ago. I mean, that's before you've opened your mouth, they're thinking that about you, which is amazing.
Right? Proactive.
Yeah, because the phone rang so fast, and, you know, and you're with your, anyway. So, what was the other thing I was going to tell you? I interrupted myself. I do that a lot. But anyway, so do you remember what I was saying? I can't.
Yeah. So we were talking about, I think, the importance of phone calls and how so many people miss out on that, and how time kills deals. Like speed is everything. And really, your guys' platform kind of helps people solve that problem, I guess. I feel like a lot of marketers and salespeople, you know, forget that, you know, phone calls are a very important channel. How many business owners or salespeople out there do you see that rely maybe too much on emails, like having some sort of an automated email follow up and not actually getting on the phone with their customers? Yeah, I think it
you know, again, this is just my opinion. I don't know what the stats are, but my perception is that B2B is less responsive. That B2B, and I can see, like, you're talking some enterprise, you're trying to do some enterprise deal, B2B, you know, it's got a buying committee of 12 people. I mean, you know, there's not a rapid response thing necessarily. It's more about, you know, there's products out there that are designed around helping you book a you know, discovery call or something. And that's kind of what everyone's after, that discovery call and getting the right people together for that. So, I mean, I get that. And so they're like, they don't value speed, you know, so much. I personally would just politely disagree with that, because I don't think anybody's going to think less of you for calling them immediately, even to introduce yourself. You might not want to go into a full blown discovery call, but at least like, hey, I just want to say, I appreciate your interest. I'm going to, you know, I'll send you the link or whatever, or make sure we, you know, get a meeting. And if you have any immediate questions, I'm here for you right now, but I just want to introduce myself and say thank you. I mean, I think that would go a long way. I would do that.
Yep.
But anyway, okay. But yeah, in B2C, a lot of people, you know, that's where I think you really got to always go for it, you know, as far as speed goes. You can't ever hesitate.
Yeah, and I think a lot of trends from B2C, a lot of trends from B2C kind of translate eventually bleed over into B2B at some point as well, because at the end of the day, you are selling to people. So I think, you know, people do, you know, really want those answers when they're in the research phase, looking for software, for instance, being able to get the answers that they're looking for to maybe bring back to their manager, whoever they're doing the work for, to kind of see what's out there. Maybe the decision's not going to happen today, but at least you're in their consideration set. They have all the questions answered that they could possibly have answered. And the one that they're going to feel more comfortable with is going to be the one that they know the most about, right? They've removed all the objections away from the sale.
I think I call it kind of the HubSpotomization of sales, where, you know, I mean, Infusionsoft and all these companies have, you know, now it's known as Keep or whatever, and now they just got acquired again. I don't know, but anyway, that they kind of it's all about the nurturing thing, right? And I think lead nurturing is great. If you're trying to cultivate, that's almost like outbound, right? You know, you create like a little lead magnet, then you have a newsletter, then you know, and then as you become aware of you, and they start building trust and like you, and then when the time to buy, that's cool. That is obviously a valid form of marketing. But what's happened, I think people misinterpret that as well, when they're ready to buy, they'll call, you know, or they'll go to 5 Flames, and then they'll be like, I'm ready. I mean, and so especially if you look at the new generation of salespeople that were kind of enculturated by that.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't grow up with the Yellow Pages as a lead, you know, they don't even know what the Yellow Pages are, right? So they grew up, you know, with this sort of thing. And so they kind of go, and hey, man, nobody likes the phone. Hey, people like to text. People like this, you know, social media, and all that's true. But it all has a place, and it's all valuable. But there's nothing in sales that's more powerful than a conversation. And some things, sorry, you just can't sell without a conversation.
Yep.
And so the sooner, as you said, the sooner you have that, the better. So I think there is a lot of, and I don't know, maybe people are just afraid to call, or I don't know, but you know, it's not a cold call. My God, it's so warm. Yeah. And I mean, that's the call that I feel comfortable doing, you know, because they just inquired, and I know they're going to think I'm amazing. And so why wouldn't I call to get that kind of, you know, that compliment from them? Like, they're going to thank me. You know, it's like, that's a nice call to make as a salesperson. So anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of that going on, but also maybe there just isn't. Maybe the people aren't problem aware, but also they're not solution aware. I mean, I can't tell you how many people are going, oh my God, I wish I knew about this 10 years ago. I never heard of this, you know, technology. Right?
Yeah. And in the world of automation too, I think, you know, people are circling back to personalization. They want that human touch. You know, you can't just put everything into a sequence and automate the heck out of it. So that's where, you know, having that conversation, you know, it's the basics 101 of sales, just getting on the phone, or having a meeting with somebody, talking to them. You mentioned earlier that, you know, a lot of companies look to get the discovery call, same kind of thing, right? You're having that discovery call to have a conversation, to go over the platform, answer any questions about the features, pricing, you know, all those sales qualifying things. But if you could just get that out of the way with a quick phone call in less than 60 seconds, I mean, you're already one step ahead of everybody.
Yeah. So you put yourself, you've got the first mover advantage, which is, you know, to be first. And this is, I came up with an acronym first attempt response time. Yeah, first attempt response time. So I'll let you spell that out. But but it's probably not. It's probably not something I should use in my marketing. But anyway, if you're the first one. So what is your score, right? But if you're the first one, again, it's yours to lose. It really is. I mean, if you're good, if you help them, and so the competition, they call in 30 minutes, like, sorry, man, I'm good. I already spoke to somebody for 20 minutes and, whatever. So that's really another advantage of this. But the other thing is, at the end of the day, every business is investing a lot to get leads. It's hard, and it costs a lot of money or effort and time to get inbound leads, especially the ones that come in via a form or that you're buying, maybe from a third party lead aggregator. They're expensive. So, it's like, okay, well, let's do everything possible to make sure we're giving ourselves the best chance possible to convert that lead. I mean, I think that's everybody's obligation.
Again, common sense, right? But a lot of people don't do it right.
Yeah. And so I read an article, a number of years ago by Ken Krogh. He started a company called Inside Sales, which is no longer. It's kind of been sold off and something else. And then it turned to Zant. And these guys were the best at research. And he wrote an article in Forbes that said 73% of all inbound leads are wasted.
Yeah.
And, and there was a good argument for that. And even today, it's probably true. But now, with AI, now we're able to finally say, because our application wouldn't work if you don't answer our call and press 1 to dial the lead, right? Yep. So, and then we would track how many times do you answer our calls? It's not 100%. You'd think it would be, right? It's not, because resources or whatever, right? And or time of day or whatever it might be. So now we've introduced what I call an AI phone rep. So there's a lot of you'll hear, everyone by now has heard of an AI voice agent. Yep. And that's the word agent is very confusing. And so I try to stay away from it because there's like 150 definitions of that word when it comes to AI. And so this is an AI phone rep. That's how I've coined it. So everyone's clear. That's what its job is. Yep. And now it's like with our platform, you can assign the AI phone rep. We call ours Beverly because it rhymes with Leverly, right? So, yeah. And so Beverly can be assigned, or whatever you want to call her, can be assigned as a rep. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to call all my reps. If none of them answer, okay, now we have Beverly to call the lead, qualify it, set the appointment on the calendar. And, and what's the conversion rate? Well, we'll measure that. But now what I'm excited about is that every business can capture 100% of their inbound leads and not miss one opportunity. Because before we were talking about speed, the other world is, the side of the coin is persistence. Yep. You have to call lead, and not too much. I mean, this is science too. It's everything we do, we try to do it based on data. What does the data tell us? When to call, what's the spacing? What's the sequence? What's the messaging in between the calls? And when should that messaging go out? I mean, people think that speed to lead means sending an instant auto response with an email or text. That's not speed to lead. Okay. Yeah. And that's just automation, and everyone knows that. And so, in fact, I'd advise against doing that. Yep. And so anyway, but text messaging, email, all those things are important parts of the orchestrated, cadence that you should automate, so you don't have to do it manually, to help you increase the likelihood of speaking to that lead. Because all of that's what that's trying to, help you do. There's no other reason for it. So yeah, but now with the AI side of things, it's a hybrid approach, and we can extend it and say, well, a lot of businesses obviously get inbound calls, especially in the B2C side, and so, I mean, I think the average business misses about 27%. That's probably on the low side of their inbound calls in a 24-hour period. So now, and 80% or so of people who call you and get a voicemail or ring no answer or whatever, hang up and never call back. Yep. 80% never call back. So it's like, oh my God, that's another missed opportunity. So, so now we can say, okay, you can do conditional call forwarding, and then those calls will go to, AI phone rep to answer, qualify, and set the appointment for you. So, and this is, I think, what I'm telling you right now, what we're doing, I think this is going to be just everybody's going to have this. Everybody's going to offer this. We're going to, there's so much competition for this right now. Our competitors are mostly like
outbound
young,
stuff.
young upstarts, like, hey, I'm looking for like a business to start. I'm an entrepreneur and I want something that doesn't cost me any money to start. Okay.
Yeah, something AI buzzword.
Stand up an AI and start selling AI phone reps to businesses. And so there's this popping up like mushrooms, and they're charging, anywhere from a lot of money, for the setup and maintenance and all this sort of stuff. And there is a lot of complexity. I mean, not to take anything away from it. It is a valuable service. There's a lot of complexity, but I'm hoping that we're because of our expertise that we've acquired over 15 years of focus on this, and the platform we've created is going to help us, carve out our share of the market, and help as many customers as we can. So that's our position at this point anyway.
Yeah, and I like your philosophy around AI too, using it more for getting people answers more effectively, more quickly, as opposed to using it as like an outbound spam tactic. What are
Yeah. And now I would
using it for like auto dialers and things of that nature?
outbound. I wouldn't even I wouldn't go near it for outbound. I mean, personally, that's my feeling. And also AI. The cool thing about it
I
too is
hate when I get those calls. Yeah.
yeah, we're just all about inbound. I mean, that's our company. We've been, and not to say outbound, obviously outbound is important. And I'm
people
sure
like the AI tools for inbound interactions more. Like when you're talking to a chatbot on a website, right? You're interested in that platform or that company, and you want to get answers quickly. And that's where you're dealing with AI, whether it's on the phone or through a chatbot, and you'll deal with it, right? Because you want the answer right there. You're actually compelled to do so, as opposed to like the outbound stuff where it's like getting an email that's written by AI and you're like, wow, that's spam, or getting a phone call that's definitely an auto dialer AI feature. You're like, wow, they didn't even give me the time of the day to actually call me with a real human. They're just trying to spam me.
I mean, again, and I think if you're just upfront about it, especially when you're answering a call and hey, listen, I am an AI, my name is Beverly or whatever. I'm an AI phone rep, and all of our live agents are busy helping other customers right now. We're trying to help as many people.
Get it out of the way right away. Yeah.
I mean, we want to help you too. And I just didn't want your call to go to voicemail. So I can help you. I can set an appointment for you with one of our qualified representatives to, so it's as long as you're being helpful. Right. And I think some people will still go, I don't want to talk to AI about, but it's okay. It's because what's better, not answering or doing AI. And it's good enough. I mean, the AI that, is good. The LLM and all that stuff now is good enough. It's not perfect, but it'll be perfect. And even if it is perfect, you may want to not make it sound perfect because you don't want people to feel like you're trying to fool them. Because, they're like, and so it's almost like you maybe want it to sound a little bit robotic, do you know what I mean? It's like, don't overthink it. Because at least they go, okay, I know what's happening right now. No one's trying to pull the wool over my eye,
Yep. Yeah. That puts people on guard right away and they don't want to listen or learn anything new. At that point.
But I would say the other thing that everyone, and we'll be adding this layer as well, is the conversational AI layer to every phone call and or even every Zoom meeting for that matter that you do. And that's huge because it really saves a lot of time in terms of training and, looking at the performance of your reps, but also, the call insights and the buyer intent and scoring and next actions and automating all that and saving a ton of time. And, with our application, if if the next action is call me next week, I mean, we could, queue that up and call you and say it's time for your follow-up call. And so, I mean, I just think the phone has so much power and can be utilized in so many ways to help reduce the amount of calories spent trying to get organized on who do I call and what do I do? Who's hot and what's next, you know? And I think because salespeople are just spinning plates all day. That's what their magic is, right? How many plates can you spin? You know, and so this would just take all that plate spinning off their hands so they can just focus on their performance. Because really what people hire them for is not their organizational abilities, you know.
Their ability to close leads, get us some deals.
Yeah, it's your ability to have a conversation, an authentic conversation and use ethical persuasion to help people buy. You know,
always be closing, as they say.
Well, anyway, you know, but so yeah, that's the deal. I guess that's what we're working on.
Well, it's powerful. So what's next for Leverly, and where can I learn more about your product?
Yeah, I mean, Leverly, you can do a demo now on our website. We have, you can do a demo of the core product, which is the form to phone application. And you can also do a demo of our new AI phone rep, which we have a waiting list now. We're just kind of rolling it out, and, you know, over the next, you know, weeks, we're working on, you know, spinning them up now. Creating agents, and, you know, the complexities on the back end. It's not the agent. I mean, the agents can be complex too, but the prompting and so on. But that's not to me, that's not the hard part. That's the art. The science is in all of the integration with calendars and, you know, all this sort of stuff. But yeah, just try the demo out on the product page. There's an AI phone rep, you know, demo. You fill out the form and it'll call you using Leverly, of course. And then if it's after hours, because you can only call or text your leads in most states before after 8 a.m. or before 9 p.m. And in some states it's 8 p.m., but most it's 9. And so yeah, what's next is just, like I said before, just adding the layers of conversational intelligence on top of the, you know, the call recordings, and also automating all of the lead call flow, which is, okay, I want to, you know, I'll click this icon for a text message, this icon for an email, this. And so that cadence, just making that, we do that now, but it's done kind of semi-manually, you know, through integrations with Zapier or Make or whatever. And, or sending some kind of webhook. But so I want to make that really easy for people. So really our future is about improving, you know, the ease of putting together a complete end-to-end solution for your inbound leads, whether they be a phone call or a form, and you can get all under one, you know, under our hood. But this is all we do. We're not a CRM. We're not anything else. We never will be.
It's all you do, but it's one of the most important things you could do. Yeah, you could have a CRM and you could store your leads and, you know, maybe send some automated emails, but, you know, getting in front of your customer when they need help, the best way still, and always will be, through a phone call, just getting that conversation going. Because yeah, time kills deals, and, you know, you miss a lot of opportunities if you're not getting on the phone with them right away. So awesome. Well, Sammy, it's been great having you today. If anybody's looking at closing more leads faster and realizing a bigger ROI from all the other marketing efforts that they're doing, might as well be closing those deals. Go to leverly.com. That's leverly.com. Did I say it right?
You did, like Beverly.
Leverly. And they have Beverly. It's their beautiful new AI platform as well to help automate some stuff. If you don't have, if you might be short-staffed a little, I know it could be a little hard for some people to get somebody on the phone right away, maybe one of their staff members, but that's where Beverly comes in. Sounds really handy there. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks. Thanks, Andy. Great talking to you.
Likewise. And also don't forget you could also check it out in the NachoNacho marketplace. We have the best software tools there. That of course includes Leverly. We've done all the shopping to find all the great tools, so you guys don't have to. You can come here and find them all in one place. So.
Yeah, there's a discount there. That's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow, even better. Yeah, I believe it's 20% cash back, right?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Right. Well, Sammy, once again, always love catching up with you, and looking forward to doing more with you.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Bye.
Hey.